Okay. All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, Inland Wetlands Agency of Town of Woodbridge. It's 7:30 PM. It's Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. First item on the agenda, oh, wait a minute, Gene is seated for David because David's not here tonight. First item on the agenda, 22 Grouse Lane, residential site development of lot. If you want to just sign in, and although Chris probably knows who you are.
Speaking to the mic. My name's Brian Thompson. Do I need this on?
That's on.
It's on. Yeah.
My name's Brian Thompson. I'm an engineer and a land surveyor. I've been hired, my client is looking to purchase this property. And so I've been hired by them to go through the due diligence period to see if it's a buildable lot. It was subdivided as a buildable lot. There are wetlands on the property. They were shown on the original subdivision map when the property was originally created. I did not hire I heard you asking the question about the thing. I did not hire the soil scientist. That was done by the owners. So I only have what was provided to me, which was the documentation from another engineer who had done some deep test pits and some perk tests. I did a review of the land records, and then I put this together for the purposes of coming to this commission to get the approval from Wetlands before my client goes to actually purchase and close on the house, or on the land to build a house. So that's kind of the background, just to give you that. I'm sure you're gonna have questions, but I just wanted to kind of give you some upfront information as to my involvement on this property up to this point. I've really only been involved for a couple of months, and this is where I am. So that being said, it is essentially, as you see in front of you, it's a single-family residence proposed. There will be no requirements for any variances because everything will be within the legal setbacks. The impacts are in the upland review area. The closest impact is the reserve septic leach field, which is, and I apologize, I'm going to have to step away from the mic.
Sure.
It's 28 feet at the closest point to the wetland. And then the primary septic leach field is here. It's I can't even read it. I think it says 54.
Yeah, 52.
But those are the two closest. And then you have a portion of the pool, the house, or really garage, a walkway, and a portion of the driveway that are in the upland review area. All the rest of it is outside of that 100-foot area. There's a little bit of grading associated with the septic system installation, a little bit of grading around where the pool will be going, and that's essentially it. So I'll open it up to whatever questions you might have.
Do you know how this layout compares with the original subdivision approval? Usually we have a proposed area for where a house was supposed to go.
So no. The short answer is no. I haven't seen any original subdivision layouts that showed locations of houses. That being said, there's not really anywhere else to put it because of the 75-foot setback and the wetlands. So I mean, kind of where I show it is where it would be. That's the best I could really give you. Sorry about that.
And there's no disturbance contemplated down there where the reserve is going to go at this point. It looks like from the
No,
grading that
it
you
would
don't
just be
have to
there
do
as identified and approved, so that in the future, if it needed to be done, it's already gone through Wetlands Commission, hearing and everything at that point. And the truth is that 50 years from now, after the GST system needs to be replaced, they'll come back to wetlands anyway, because it'll be so long.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Has QVHD approved this layout yet?
No, I haven't submitted the application for the septic design yet because this is the biggest linchpin. So I'm coming here first, basically to to, again, test the waters on whether or not this is even a feasible site for the client.
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
can I ask a preliminary question
Sure.
through you? Is this an is the action being sought for a permit or for an advisory opinion on feasibility and the commission's impressions about development? What is before us?
I think it's a permit, for a permit, yeah.
I've heard some equivocation from the applicant about, it made me ask exactly what was our, what.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're looking for the
Well,
permit,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm looking for a permit,
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Question, or don't we usually get the Quinnipiac okay first?
Well, you know, what probably would make sense is to also submit, I mean, we can't, well, we could possibly act on it tonight, but, because, well, let me just think, we're just receiving the application, so we can't. So, we'd have to, the earliest we could act on it is next month. So you may want to just go to QVHD and see if they have, I mean, unless the perk tests aren't good, I can't imagine they really have a problem with your design.
No, I can tell you, the perk tests were at less than 10 minutes per inch. And the receiving soil depth is 37 and a half inches, so perfectly suitable, you know, site for septic design.
Okay. Well, what you may want to do though is, you know, submit to them just to be sure, so you have all your, we don't really like to give the wetlands permit unless we have QVHD approval, so you may want to just consider submitting to them and see what they say over the next month before we meet again.
Sure, I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
And
Stephen,
then-
do you have other questions?
That, I did not have the floor, that was Jack.
I guess the only thing, I can't really see that it wouldn't make that much difference. It looks like the house could be moved, I don't know, up to me is always north, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's,
it's north,
if that's
yeah.
north.
Mhm.
A little bit, which would position the septic system a little further, I think, from the wetlands as well as the house, but I don't know if that can be done. It looks like there's space, but between the setback and the house.
So there is a little bit of space to move the house. I generally try to center it, you know, on the lot, but that doesn't mean it can't be shifted to the north.
And same way with maybe just the septic system.
Well, the septic system is more controlled by the contours. You know, let me just take a look here. If you look at the existing contours, the orientation, it starts to turn, and so I was trying to keep it without having to go around the contouring. It's just, you know, best practices for design. But I can certainly look at it. I don't have a problem, you know, looking more into shifting that.
Anyone else, questions? Do you have other questions, Stephen?
No, I don't have any.
I have some
Okay, Jeff.
procedural question.
Sure.
Would this situation justify a request for a variance on the zoning rule of the 75-foot setback? Because it's a hardship of the land?
There is no, they're not encroaching as shown on this plan.
But if they could encroach, then everything would be farther away from the wetlands.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm just
Sorry.
hypothetically,
I just want to understand your question. Are you saying that if a variance were granted for the front setback, that would allow it to be moved out of the upland review area?
or at least farther away? Just
You can't get
total-
out of there.
Yeah, I don't
would-
really see there's any, I mean, you're still, the septic system will be where it is. I don't
Yeah.
see,
Okay.
then, yeah, I don't really see that being realistic.
Okay. Thank you.
Because it's level. You still have to put the septic system downhill.
Yeah, well, and, I mean,
I mean, you can't move it
I mean,
closer without burying it deeper. You know?
I don't know, that there would be a true hardship of the land to get a variance for the front setback, when it's not like the wetland, like, we're in the upland review area, we're not in the
Yeah.
wetland, we're, so, and there's, this kind of thing gets done, all the time, so I don't understand that being
The simplest thing you could do to move the septic system further from the wetlands is to rotate it, but that's not so simple. Clockwise.
rotate the septic
The
system.
septic, well, I mean, move it, because every time you go around this way, you get further from the wetlands.
Yeah, so following the curvature, oh, sorry.
I understand, I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying that's what it would do, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to look at. I don't, again, it's not going to get any, well, I mean, it'll get a little bit out of the upland review area,
Yeah.
but the septic system's still gonna be in there, no matter what, like,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, so.
What's the characteristic of the wetland area? Is it just soil type? Is there standing water? Is there water
So I didn't
flowing?
see any standing water, but then again, I went out there at the end of, when was it, I guess, right before Christmas.
Mhm.
We didn't have quite as much, moisture at that time. So, again, I didn't get a report from the owner. And I'm not a soil scientist, so
Yeah.
I can't necessarily answer that question for you.
Where does it drain, though? Does it drain, is this the low point of the well, let me just see here on your topo.
No, it drains,
Looks like it
from the
goes-
contouring, it appears it drains to the south of this lot.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's the low point. I think it
Looks
does
like it,
overland flow
yeah.
southerly.
Looks like it's flowing away from the house.
Yeah, it's all flowing. It's basically going this way.
Yeah.
What I,
That's what I would guess, yeah. Mhm. All right, I don't know. Anyone else have any other comments? Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. So I have some fundamental concerns, I guess, about the project. First is, I'd like to check our regulations on whether we can grant an approval before a QVHD approval has been granted, or
Sure.
see if our regulations discuss this peculiarity, let's say, for given what we're accustomed to. So that's the first thing. Second thing that I find is fundamentally concerning to me is the wetland report. Your plan is reliant on a report that is relying on a prior report, as you described as a third party. So I'd like to see all of the wetland mapping, delineation, and reporting on this so we could determine the age of these reports and whether we could rely on them as being current conditions. So that's another concern, is the
So-
completeness of the wetland delineation and functionality.
Yeah.
Just so you know, on the plan, it states that the inland wetlands were flagged by JMM Wetlands Consultants on August 28th, 2024.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that, very
Yeah.
plain to see.
Yeah.
But the
Because-
applicant, however, stated that there was a third party that this 2024 report relied upon, if I
No,
understand.
No.
that's not what I said.
No.
What I said was, my client is the potential buyer. The person who hired the soil scientist is the owner. The owner, through the real estate agents, provided documentation that my client gave to me. As part of that, I never got the wetland report. I'm not saying that the reporting or the wetland flagging was done based on some older thing. What I'm saying is, and the same thing that she said at the beginning was, that is, the wetland that was flagged in 2024 is consistent with what was shown on the subdivision map. I'm not saying it's the same, it's just, it's along the same lines.
Okay, very good. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
thank you
so,
for
so
clearing
that
that
being
up.
said, I will reach out to try to get the wetland report.
Please, I would
Yeah,
like
I
to
would,
see
I'll
that.
do, I have no problem doing that, I just don't have it at this
Fine.
point, that's all.
That's all right, you're at the early stage of this process, so, all right, good, so thank you for clearing
Mm-hmm.
that up. When you said third party, that suggested to me that we might not be, it might not be wise for us to rely on something that we don't even know the authorship or the date of authorship.
Yeah,
So you've cleared that up, so these findings go back to just 2024,
Yeah.
and you'll try to produce that for us.
Yeah, I need to get the report, that's all.
That's fine, yeah, thank you. And then I had another, something else I thought for me was foundational, is I'd like to research, because I'm not regularly confronted with this, I'd like to research what the impact of a septic system being within 50 feet and 20 feet of a wetland area. So I'm not, off the top of my head, to give the application a proper consideration, I'd like to know what those potential impacts are so that
Sure.
so that I could properly assess the impacts to the wetlands, if any.
Sure, and I'll just offer to you as well,
Please.
I've done this countless times in many jurisdictions in Connecticut. This is a very, in my opinion, in my experience, this is a very typical single-family
Lot.
residential lot. And I try to stay outside of 50 feet, but sometimes even within 50 feet, that has to happen. And that's why the primary is outside of 50 feet and the reserve is within. Just, I have to be able to show a reserve on the plan. Again, I'm proposing GST systems, which are like the Cadillac of septic systems. It's going to last, honestly, if it's maintained, it'll last, it could last 75, 80 years.
Absolutely.
But that being said, this is a very standard thing. This is done quite frequently. I've done work in Cheshire. I've done work in Prospect. I've done work in
Other towns.
many other towns with this very same scenario. And I would welcome you to reach out to any of those wetland commissions or whoever else
Thank you. I'd probably go to some state guidance or some scientific reference, I suppose.
Sure.
So that all right, good. So having cleared those things away, in the 5 or 10 minutes I had to look at your map before our meeting tonight, I do have a checklist of a laundry list items that I see about the plan that I'd like you to consider before we get together again. Not in any particular order. I don't see any detail for sedimentation and erosion controls. Is your plan simply a one-page?
Yes.
Okay, so you have nothing behind that image there of any details on S&E controls?
Silk fence detail.
I see that.
Construction entrance detail, silk fence location.
Okay,
That's really, what else do you need,
simple as that.
really?
All right, so given the contours and the slope of the property, I thought it might be wise to have the hay bales backed, the silt fences backed by hay bales.
Okay.
To-
If you want that, I have a detail I can put on to do that. I've done it on other projects.
Thanks. I recognize that would be a change. Yeah, thank you. I could not locate on the map where you're going to have your stockpile. Is that on there somewhere?
I don't typically show stockpile locations because the contractors put them different places.
All right,
I can identify a stockpile location if that's a request you have, certainly.
yeah, because that allows us to keep an eye on the project. This way we don't end up with, changing conditions and the need to move sedimentation erosion controls and things of that nature. So to whatever extent it's feasible, if you can mark on the plan where your stockpile will be, and
Okay.
please show it with S&E controls surrounding it.
Okay.
As you note in your general site notes that you would. So I didn't see a symbol for the stockpile, so yeah, thank you. If you'll put if you'll contemplate and then put that on the map, that would be good. Also, I noticed that the slopes here, you're gonna be grubbing the front, so the property's completely unimproved. So I thought at least, perhaps 2 rows of hay bale backed silk fences at whatever you determine as an engineer would be wise to check those flows to make sure that during the construction, when you're opening up the site, given the grade all the way into the wetland area, if your professional opinion, it would be best to check those muddy flows with a double rows of S&E controls. So consider that. I don't need an answer
In the
from you
rear,
now.
in the rear?
Yes, in the western part of the property, in the rear of the property, as you call it.
Okay.
Because there's a 20-foot elevation gain to the wetlands, so while most of the flows may be to the south, I haven't had enough time with the map here to make that conclusion. If you have, certainly it looks like we're going to get flows to the west, and so we need to check those speeds. We have other properties that were opened up entirely that exhibited these problems, so I'd like to get a handle on that before it becomes a problem.
Just one, I mean, it looks like the change of elevation is about 10 feet over 200 feet, so it's not it's a steep lot, so.
It's a relatively flat lot.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Because the
I go
front
from
of the lot
462
goes
to
towards
4.
the front.
Yeah, I go from 462 to 451. It's about, it's 12 feet. You could, water can move pretty fast without anything interrupting it during the construction
But like I
phase.
said, it's over 200 feet, so, I'm sorry, go ahead, you can continue. I just have a couple things before I forget.
Yeah, it's gonna be a large opening, so, yeah, if you think that's not necessary, that's fine. But let's see, so that's my opinion on it. I think that may be something to consider. Another thing, yeah, I was pleased to see you had a maintenance schedule for your S&E controls, so I appreciate that attention to detail. I didn't see any symbol on the diagram for your construction entrance. I see you have a driveway depicted. Where's your CE
full
gonna be?
disclosure, as I was pointing it out, I recognize I forgot to put it in the front
Okay,
there,
so-
so I will add that.
All right, so that's an issue, and if you could, also prepare notes for anti-tracking pad so we are certain not to have sedimentation in the roads when if any, you won't be trucking anything out?
No, I don't anticipate there being any real earthwork. I mean, just excavation for the foundation and,
Okay,
the idea is anything that's left over will be spread back on the front yard.
There is a detail on the anti-tracking pad below the silt fence.
It's the construction entrance, but I think he's looking for maybe size of stone and.
Yes.
riprap and
You
stuff.
say it's 2-inch stone,
Yeah, so.
6 inches thick, which is a
so,
standard detail.
that, how large is this house? How many square feet is this house? I didn't see.
I don't.
I see two-story.
I'd have to look at
Well, it says you could add up to 3 floors, but
no, it's
not-
only
that's
gonna
not
be a
it.
2-story, could be 2 stories. It's just
well, the basement,
I mean,
it's,
I don't have the square footage.
Okay.
It's a pretty typical house for this area, though. It's not small, but it's not massive. It's a good-sized house.
Okay.
Probably in the neighborhood of 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, I think.
Okay. So if you could learn a little bit more about that, because, if you could learn a little bit more about that. How many car garage is the garage?
2-car garage.
Okay. And, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. Those are my preliminary concerns.
Yeah.
Again, I wish, only had a few minutes with it.
Yeah, I mean, I did submit it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it's just, we didn't,
Get around to
we-
it.
yeah, this is fine, it's not that complicated of a project.
Yeah, it's
The
a,
on- the only thing-
it's a very typical, bread and butter kind of project.
Yeah, we see this.
The only thing I would appreciate if we could show on the map is limit of clearing, where the clearing is going to, or we assume it's a silt fence area or whatever.
So I usually say silt fence, but I can certainly put the little bubble line around it.
Or you could
and-
just add just
a
clearing
note
limit
that
is where
says-
silt fence is.
Yeah, limited clearing, yeah, okay,
Mhm. Okay.
no problem.
Anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, and just to echo the chairman's point, the limit of clearance, is that, Bob, are you equating that with the limit of disturbance or the lawned area to where, what is the extent of the lawned area going to be here? Is that what you were asking?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, just so we know what,
Do you want me to actually put the area calculation?
No,
definitely not,
just
no.
depict
No, and
the
if it's,
line on
and,
that.
and if it's along the silt fence, just put a note saying limited clearing is silt
Yeah.
fence, is
Yeah,
showing
it's
us.
it's usually limited clearing is the silt fence.
Yeah,
but I can-
typically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're looking at my staff, so,
Mm-hmm.
it's me in the field and then me in the office, so sometimes I
No,
don't,
no,
I don't put every single little note on there, so. I
don't worry
apologize.
about it, that's why we're here, and we have time to work anything out, so. Anybody else have any
One
other?
last
Go
question.
ahead.
I'm sure, maybe I don't understand how to read this map. At the back of the house, the finished floor will be 8 feet above.
No,
First-
so it's a walkout
It will be a
basement.
walkout,
Yeah,
okay.
so the front of the house, the first floor elevation.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I
so the
assumed was
FF&E is
happening.
first floor elevation, it's 464, and then the basement is about 455, so you got 9 feet difference.
Right, and then we'll just walk out and slowly dip down.
Yeah.
I'm just puzzled how a pool can be 8 feet above the ground, I guess. Right, I mean,
I'm sorry?
the level of, the level of the coping around the pool is also the same level as the finished floor?
No, the pool is gonna be, you're gonna walk out of the basement to
Oh, the pool is at basement level,
Yeah.
okay. Somehow I couldn't picture that, sorry,
Okay, anything else?
down on the pool, nice, that makes a lot more sense.
Josh, you have anything else?
No, so we'll see the wetlands report
Yeah.
and the Quinnipiac.
Yeah, if it can be done by then. I mean, there have been times where we've approved things subject to Quinnipiac's approval, but it's a lot cleaner if we get that, or at least you get the sense that it's gonna be approved, so that you don't have to come
Well,
back
and
and make
just,
changes.
and I respect that you typically see it one way. I've done it both, and again, so, it's not like I'm trying to short circuit
Oh, yeah,
anything.
no.
If you prefer to see that approval first,
It would be better.
I'll go tomorrow and submit it, and hopefully they turn it around pretty quick.
Great job.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great, thank you very much, thanks for coming in.
They were present for the deep hole tests that were done. The original site work was done by the owner with Noakowski, OB, Machow, and
Yeah, I see
Kane.
Alan Shepherd's there. Yeah.
So that's when that was done, so they were out there when he had that done, so that he was trying to make sure that there was an area that was conducive to having a septic system.
Yeah, I know, when I've been through it personally, he's out there in the hole with the
Yeah.
engineer, so, yeah. All right.
And just so you know, there is no requirement that you have to have QBHD approval.
Yeah, I know.
The only
We've done it both
requirement
ways.
within the health code or within anything is that I can't issue a zoning permit without a QBHD approval.
Okay,
I'm sorry, one question
Sure.
before I go. Is there gonna be a sidewalk?
I don't think we need it on this one, unless somebody thinks we do.
I did plan to go look at it.
Oh, okay, but just
On my own.
unofficially, okay, yeah. No, we're not gonna
I can
have,
prepare a report if you'd like.
we're not gonna have an official visit there, so you don't have to worry about that, so, okay?
And I'm open, if you do happen to go out there and you clear it with the owner and all that stuff, let me know, I don't have a problem with you.
Thank
If
you.
that's allowed.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, Regional Water Authority, 2035 Litchfield Turnpike to 4.1.E referral. Gentlemen.
Good evening, folks.
Hi.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to appear in front of you tonight. My name is Evan Moore. I am with the Regional Water Authority. My title is Source Water Technician. I'm joined tonight by Orville Kelly and Brian Canterbury of our engineering department. So we're here tonight. I assume you all saw the comment letter that I had sent and the site plan we sent over. So we are planning on replacing the existing residual drying beds at the West River Water Treatment Plant in the same general area that they are already in. As the comment letter we submitted notes, we believe this activity complies with section 4.1.E of the Inland Wetland Regulations for Woodbridge, which covers the operation of facilities necessary for the withdrawal of water in connection with public water supplies. So we are here tonight for a determination on whether this activity is as of right.
Okay, so looking at your map, is this where it's being reconstructed, is where it's currently located?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. What about the area down there, these overflow basins? Are they existing and remaining, or are they new also?
Those are existing and remaining, I believe.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
This sounds silly, but you're replacing it. What does replacement mean? I mean, you're not digging out the old one and bringing in a new one. I mean, it's
I'll defer
Wh-
any
yeah.
technical
yeah.
questions to our
I don't know what the
You can pull a chair up if you want.
mechanism is there.
Okay, well,
You can be comfy.
So again, I'm Brian Canterbury with Regional Water Authority Engineer. So a residuals drying bed is currently an unlined drying bed, which basically means it's a hole.
Yeah, okay.
And so we maintain it periodically,
Yeah.
remove the material that's in there, and it has a beneficial use designation, so it's often used as amendment for soil and other things like
Okay.
that as it goes away. So what's going to happen in there is we are going through and we actually have we're complying with deep requirements, and we're going to provide a liner system underneath there with that'll segregate the groundwater from the water that separates from the drying bed water, and we'll remove that and send it back into the treatment plant for additional treatment, and otherwise it'll be maintained similarly as it is now, where it will be removed, excavated, and treated the same way as in the past. So basically, we'll clear it out. We'll have to dig a little bit deeper. We'll have a almost like a French drain system on the bottom of it, where the water will be removed and collected from the bottom, sent back into our treatment system, and then so we have to excavate a little bit, but effectively the footprint will be generally the same, within a few feet in grading and shaping, in order to provide a little bit easier access for some of our trucks and things like that for
All right.
removal of the material.
This is probably a less intelligent question, but what is a drying bed anyway? What does it do? I mean, if you're trying to get something out of water, why are you drying I just don't understand the concept. I'm sorry.
So when we filter out the water, so there's natural little bits that are in the reservoir water that are naturally occurring.
Oh, okay.
There's little algae
It's what's
things.
left after you filter the water.
It's
basically.
the material that's removed, so it's natural material that's dried out and then removed for soil
Okay.
amendment.
All right. So you're not drying the water, you're drying whatever's left.
No,
that
we
comes
like
out
the
of
water.
So
We really
I
like
was,
the water.
I was trying to figure this out.
We'll take as much as you can give us. So,
Okay.
yeah, we'll,
All right. Okay. I don't know. There. Go ahead, Stephen.
So, it looks to me, what you're describing, the activity you're describing relates to the impounding, storage, and withdrawal of water in connection with a public water supply?
Correct.
All right, so it sounds like you meet the test for an as-of-right permitted use under 4.1E, so, you know, this checks that box for me, and I guess the only other point I would make is I just would expect the utmost respect for the RWA. I guess I would expect it to deploy any S&E controls it thinks is prudent and sensible under the circumstances of your construction activities.
Absolutely, that's our reservoirs are in the area, and we don't want to make it any dirtier because then we have to clean it back up again to get it out to everybody. So we try to keep the soil where it is.
Thanks.
All right, anybody else have any questions or need any other education than you've already had? All right, thank you, guys. You know, I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have different stuff that comes out of different reservoirs. The stuff when you're filtering is different depending on the reservoir.
Yeah, it's like everything else. You get a little bit different characteristics depending on where you get your water.
I got to go see the plant over by Salt and Stone last night.
It is very simple.
Yeah.
It's all organics. Once
Yeah.
you backwash the filters, you send it here to dry. And then you can pretty much mix it with soil and use it for gardening or.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there a market for that? Does the Regional Water Authority sell that too? Fertilize or something?
The market isn't as big. We do not get into the soils, fertilizer portion of it, but there is a company down the street that actually takes it once it's dry and he mixes it with his topsoil and sells it, use it. But the market isn't that big for us. It's not something we're looking to go into.
Is that Nature's
Good, thank you.
Harvest?
Good night.
Is that
Okay.
Nature's Harvest?
No, gosh.
Or is it in Woodbridge?
Is it Woodward? Oh, gosh. I don't remember.
Okay.
You can email me later.
Oh, okay, so you're right. Yes, we could.
We'll find out.
I'm
Okay.
just curious.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, moving right along.
You have to make a motion.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Might as well get, so these guys can leave. Do it.
Yeah,
go
I'd
ahead.
like to move to approve the Regional Water Authority's application to conduct its activities pursuant, its permitted activities pursuant to Section 4.1E of our regulations.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure we have to really approve their application, just make a determination that it's within that exemption from our regulations, basically.
So moved.
Okay. Then we have a second?
I'll second.
Jack seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Drive
guys.
safe.
Maybe we should ask if it's any good to get rid of ice.
No, I don't think it's
Anyway.
not gritty enough.
I know. All right, so basically, what are we on next? No old business, we're all done with stuff that was pending. Any correspondence we need to deal with?
Nope.
Nope. Just a reminder that the Kakiewicz, session's coming up in another week and a half or so.
Cause.
Cause, yeah.
So
If
you and
anybody
Jack and-
else wants to go, so,
Yeah.
excuse me. Enforcement officer report, anything we need to deal with, Chris?
I've been busy with zoning.
Yes, I can imagine.
Everything is frozen.
Yeah, and, well, not
Wow.
tempers, though. Okay, approval of minutes. We're on to the favorite part of the meeting. I only noted one thing.
Oh my
God, I
gosh.
missed it. I did not find anything.
Oh,
Oh, gee.
on the bottom of page 2, it was not unanimous approval
Yeah.
on Forte. That's the only thing I noticed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So, but
I was
otherwise,
trying hard.
I tried real hard to find something else, but there was nothing. But I'm not up to Gene's caliber, so.
I didn't print it because our printer was broken, so I did it on the monitor,
that's
but I
majority.
went over it twice, I didn't find anything.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Tonight, Bob gets the start.
Well, no,
Yeah,
when everything's,
absolutely.
I'm old enough that when everything's are on monitors, I miss all the mistakes, so I can't, I have to look at paper still, so, anyway.
Well, I didn't even really think by then, I'm looking for spelling and typing errors, you know, and
yeah.
the content
Not
sometimes
content.
escapes me.
Chris is using AI now, so therefore it's
No,
it's getting a little more challenging,
let's
so.
not go there.
Yeah, I know, that's for sure. Excuse me. Anything else we need to talk about, or can we all go home?
No?
No?
Well, I
Go
just
home.
should
Sure.
let everybody know, I will miss the next meeting.
Okay.
Where are you going?
Sicily.
Oh. You want to zoom in? We can set it up.
Says there was Zoom from Sicily? No, I'll pass.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was hoping
I
you'd
did
show us
zoom-
some scenery
I
while
did
you're
zoom
here.
in from California once a
Yeah.
few years back.
Yeah, that's when we were all zooming in, so.
Yeah.
All right, then, so March, yeah, I'll be here. Anything anybody else wants to talk about? No? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Jack moved.
Second?
Gene seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstention? We're done, and it's, hold on a second.
8:10.
8:10. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.